Hypothalamus Artificial Intelligence, HAI. It presents companies in the process of digital transformation, its offer of professional services and the supply of algorithms of highly complex multi-problem mathematical models. These services are called MMaaS, Mathematical Models as a Service for Agro-Industrial Business. To provide these services, HAI is supported by its business partners, GAMS, IBM and TD SYNNEX, all of which are producers of artificial intelligence technologies. HAI is a company at the forefront of high-performance artificial intelligence. The intellectual property of hypothalamus artificial intelligence is supported by our methodologies and technologies that has been used for 50 years developing and implementing highly complex mathematical model and decision-making systems at enterprise scale. HAI has developed a robust library of successful algorithms for application development and use cases across large multi-regional enterprises. 80% of our process of computation systems generation is executed by AI agents, which ensures approach and implementation, at least 1000x times faster than an army of programmers. Our solution is universal, it is standardized, and it is easy to adapt and implement, satisfying the demands of fast digital transformation. Our methodology is based on artificial hypothalamus framework, and the use real-time autonomous distributed optimization, allowing algorithms to evolve, generating self-learning processes, minimizing human intervention. Our solution produce an average 10 to 15% reduction in operating cost. HAI is business partner of leaders in producing high-productivity algorithms to solve optimization complex problems, like Gurobi Incorporated and IBM. HAI is a new way of thinking about math that will change the world as we know it. HAI is the creator of the concept of artificial entrepreneurial brains, which is supported by the development of parallel thinking, when a complex system must be analyzed. Optimizing agro-industrial supply chains. For agro-industrial supply chains, which produce food from agricultural raw materials developed on farms, HAI-AGRO integrates mathematical models of optimization oriented to the planning and scheduling of operations, to synchronize the main link, on the farms, with the industrial link, in the factories. HAI-AGRO solutions are developed by HAI. Mathematical models for the agro-industrial sector can be grouped around an artificial brain, which horizontally and vertically integrates the optimization of all activities that need to be carried out along the production chain. In the past, the vision of models was to build and run them independently, manually coordinated, executed periodically. Today, Industry 4.0 offers a new vision of mathematics for optimization. The value chain ranges from breeding farms, the transformation of the processed animals into commercial products, to the distribution of these products to different types of customers, in multiple markets. Geospatially, it is made up of networks of farms, slaughterhouses, industrial plants, distribution centers and points of sale. Mathematical models look for optimize the network management of supply chains for plant raw materials, e.g., corn, soybeans, fodder and animal raw materials, such as chickens, pigs, cattle, fish. Optimize the planning and scheduling of industrial operations in factories, e.g., food production, meat processing, value-added products, and minimize costs to achieve considerable savings in the agro-industrial process and increase the profitability of the business. Planting and harvesting planning. Models aimed at optimizing decision-making processes related to planting planning and harvest scheduling. Stochastic programming models including hydroclimatic scenarios, and financial risk management. Tactical farm network planning. Models aimed at optimizing the synchronization of production processes in the network of farms/or farms. They must coordinate the growth process of living beings, located in sheds, lots or pastures, with their food and with the commercial products they are expected to become at the end of the supply chain. Typically, two types of modules associated with processes should be considered. Animals, the ones that animals produce chickens, turkeys, pigs, cows, fish. Vegetables, the ones that plants produce sugarcane, corn, soybeans, flowers. They are similar processes but with some differences. Sometimes, for example on livestock farms, two types of modeling must be coordinated, Animals and forage. Planning of livestock farms. The main objective of the model is to plan the optimal operation of a dairy or cattle raising farm. It is based on a mathematical optimization model that considers the integral process of growth cycle of livestock, pregnancy cycle and milk production, forage cycle, food supply, nutrients, cost of production, and sale of milk in a market with demand and dynamic prices. The results are cow pregnancy cycle, for each animal, programming of forage sowing, rotation of cattle lots in pastures. Feed sourcing. Models aimed at optimizing the planning and scheduling of the supply to the network of farms of balanced feed, or fertilizers in the case of vegetable crops, from the industrial plants that produce them. This process considers the age distribution of living beings in different farms, since age determines the type of nutrients they require. The process includes transportation costs and the capacity of the vehicles that will be used in the process. At the tactical level, the models determine food or fertilizer consumption targets. At the operational level, the models establish in detail the transport services that are required. In the company that produces its own food and sells the surplus to the market, it produces exchange for economic benefits but complicates the integrated management of the business. Recollection and transportation of animals and plants. Models aimed at optimizing the collection of agro-industrial products and their allocation to commercial commitments, bilateral orders and contracts, considering the capacity and availability contracts signed with transport companies, for example shipping companies or airlines, the fleet of vehicles themselves and the capacity to incorporate these products. Animals available to promise. Mathematically, the problem of planning the allocation of live animals to commercial commitments is to find the number of whole animals, and animals per piece, that are required to meet demand and reduce costs. The questions to be answered are: when should the whole animal be used, bought, or sold? When to cut it into pieces? When to use, buy, or sell the parts? To which trade orders should I assign the whole animals, and to which parts? Which animals, from which farm, should go to a certain processing plant? Peak seasons available to promise. The problem of assigning live animals to commercial engagements during exceptional periods of high demand, usually associated with special holidays such as Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, involves coordinating multiple decisions to minimize costs and thus maximize the profitability of sales during the super high season. The planning of this process involves integrated planning that must cover several fronts. Farm planning, inventory management policies, reconfiguration of the distribution network, planning of refrigerated storage sites, product transport planning, and reverse logistics planning. Plantations available to promise. Available to promise vegetables is the problem of planning the allocation of large plantations, making commitments for the wholesale delivery of crops. The questions to be answered are: is it possible to invest more harvest products along the way? To which customers and in which markets will the products be delivered? What type of contract should be concluded, bilateral or standardized? How will the weather affect the harvest, both in domestic and international markets? It is common in the production chains of commodity plantations. Plantations available to promise. Available to promise vegetables is the problem of planning the allocation of large plantations, making commitments for the wholesale delivery of crops. The questions to be answered are: is it possible to invest more harvest products along the way? To which customers and in which markets will the products be delivered? What type of contract should be concluded, bilateral or standardized? How will the weather affect the harvest, both in domestic and international markets? It is common in the production chains of commodity plantations. Mathematical models as a service, MMaaS, is a service through Hypothalamus artificial intelligence, together with one of its associates, assumes the mathematical modeling service through cloud servers. To learn more about MMaaS, the interested can watch the video. Mathematical models as a cloud service. Computational implementation. More information is available in the white paper. Supply chain optimization of agro-industrial products. Mathematical models software factory. When the client requires specialized models, HAI-AGRO offers the services to design and implement models in a short time, and at manageable costs for all types of companies. Mathematical Models Software Factory is a service offered by HAI in which the client provides HAI-AGRO with the formulation of the mathematical model and a test database, and HAI-AGRO provides the client with a decision support system composed of source code of the mathematical model and the selected optimization technology, information system data model, and, if it exists, a test case to test the correct functioning of the model. Like Herbert Simon, Hypothalamus AI believes that the computer-based mathematical modeling is the greatest invention of all times. Thank you for your attention.